I was curious about your stance on capitalism and what you think is
hate it.
About
Abolish it. You want me to elaborate the point? Down with capitalism.
Yes, in 1987, Ward Churchill gave an interview to the Denver Post where he said that he hung out at the SDS headquarters in Chicago and met Bernadine and in fact instructed the weathermen in bomb making and then got out of the movement after the radicals blew themselves up. Was he making that up? Was he misquoted, or was he actually involved making bombs?
I urge you to read Fugitive Days, my memoir, which begins with this phrase: memory is a motherfucker. I myself remember nothing. And one of the problems with trying to parse what your experience was, what your experience was, and what my experience was, I wrote this memoir, and then I sent it to my brother, who was underground with us for 11 years. He deserted the army. He was in the army. He was trying to organize a servicemen's union. I sent the memoir to my brother. He read it and called me immediately. He said, "Oh my God, you've got so many things wrong." And I said, "For example," he said, "Mom was a complete bitch. You've painted her as this shit." So Mom was a bitch. Ward Churchill instructed. I have no idea. I don't remember it, but it could have happened.
Couldn't have happened in '87. Is that what you said?
No,
he gave the interview in '87 and said he instructed weather people in bomb making.
I don't remember it.
Because there's petition for Ward Churchill, I'd like to just tag on to that question. Both of you said you do not remember Ward Churchill. When was the first time you ever were aware of his existence?
Oh, his books. I mean, his books have changed the landscape. They had a huge impact, I think, at uncovering the long history of empire against.
And that's the first time you were aware of him was through his books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I know he came up in Illinois, and it's possible that I met him. But
Who knows?
Came up in Illinois, what?
I mean, he was at Champaign-Urbana as a student, is what I read. But my point is, I think, I would just want to say, I think it's important to sign these petitions. I think it's hugely important that he not be fired from here. And I don't know how much all of you as students here recognize, that all universities across the country and across the world are very aware of what's happening here. And I'm charging you with the responsibility to stand up and object. I know the students voted overwhelmingly last year, is this right, that he was the best professor. And I think you don't have to agree with everything somebody says, or does, or is, in order to say that he's been an incredibly effective academic, intellectual, and educator.
And that he's been targeted for a reason.
That the reason that he has been targeted, the reason why 6 pages of his 20 books and thousands of articles have been seized on by this committee is because of his political, incendiary political statements. So that should not be allowed to happen. He must be allowed to teach, and I think that you can get, and we can all get, this committee to reverse itself, because the committee was, with misgivings, with grave misgivings, knowing that this was an incredibly politicized situation, and the university is under tremendous pressure here to cave. But I really think it's extremely important that we have a huge array of views, and it always happens that it's, people who are eccentric,
Outliers.
speaker-uppers.
But anybody who wants to fact check Ward Churchill's claims is looking at the wrong people if they're looking at us, because I'm serious that I have so many gaps in my memory. I actually did inhale. I took those drugs. I apologize, but I don't remember.
Let's go back to some of these questions.